Thank you, French. Shabbat Shalom. Greetings to you all. Well, let's begin by sending out healing to the world and to any of you in need of healing. To Tony, to Elmo, to Linda, Lindsay, little Liney. Source of strength, who blessed the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Let us all have our spirits renewed, us, everybody we know who needs it, the world, it sure needs it. And do not forget that this week is a week of love, with a day dedicated to love, the 15th of Av. Now, the day does not matter as much as simply the meaning, celebrating love in your life, in your heart, in your soul, in your spirit. Take a little bit of every day and make each day a festival of love day. Now, no topic will have been written about more, nor caused as many problems, and none will have as many songs be their inspiration. The Beatles, of course, put it best, and were so right when they said, all you need is love, love, love is all you need. For Bob Dylan and Joan Baez, love is just a four-letter word. A decade later, Macca. Sir Paul McCartney reminded us all, for all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. So won't you listen to what the man said? And it is important to listen as we continue with the Book of Words, the Book of Discourses, as Moses continues his summary and his farewell address this week as we enjoy Va'er Hanan, and I pleaded. He pleads with God, but his words fall on deaf ears. And this week we get the repeat of the Decalogue, with noticeable changes, but as I've said, that is the norm in this book. And the most striking difference is probably contained in the fourth commandment, the one regarding the Sabbath. But you may not fully catch it, so please do read it and notice what you can. Hey, you can email me the changes you spot if you would like. I would love to see what you find. The changes and explanations are fantastic. And notice the projecting of the people to the events in question. As Moses says, the Lord your God sealed a covenant with us at Horeb. Horeb is Sinai, of course. Not with our fathers did the Lord seal this covenant, but with us, we who are here today, all of us alive. Face to face did the Lord speak with you on the mountain. Well, as I told you last time, you will see again and again, the emphasis is us, we, here, today. It's not ancient history. It is current events to the people on the banks of the Jordan. Here's another clue for you all. No, it's not about the walrus. It is the fact none of these people would have actual personal knowledge. None of them would have been alive during that time. But it is spoken to all who hear and all believe it to be true. That's the most incredible thing about this book. That's always interesting, my friends, to see whether people spot the differences or not. Hey, most people do not even know the Ten Commandments well enough to even recite them, other than maybe don't murder, don't steal, because most people do not think that they do those anyhow. That's a whole other topic. But the one most overlooked is probably adultery. Now, this is perhaps because it's the most readily broken of the commandments, except maybe for coveting, because it is a commandment that good people break. We think of bad people breaking most of them, but this is one that actually good people break. The temptation here is extraordinary. The potential for hurt is substantial. The potential for breaking this one, leading to other behavior, especially lying, is tremendous as well. And while there is much talk now of the covenant, there's not a lot of talk about what the covenant is. So for those of you wondering, it was basically, look, I'll be your God. You'll be my people if you follow my law. And so the 10 Commandments are essentially the covenant. All the other commandments are important, but the 10 Commandments on the tablets of stone are different. They are the 10 essential laws for how mankind should live, broken down into how to live with spirit, God, and how to live with man. Now that's your main course in life. Everything else are just sides. And as you read this Parsha, it suggests that the Deuteronomist, because that's what we'll call whoever wrote this, was familiar with the creation stories in Genesis. And you will notice Moses invoking some pretty special witnesses. I have called to witness the heavens and the earth. He opens and closes Deuteronomy with it, again echoing the creation story. Right off the bat, he puts us in a difficult position. Deuteronomy 4:1. You shall not add to the word that I charge you, and you shall not subtract from it. Well, which word, my friends? The prior ones or the subsequent ones? Because these words both are different, and they both add and subtract, and they have for centuries. And each branch of Judaism adds and subtracts more and different things. And because of that difficulty, it's been suggested that Mosaic teaching is intended to be limited to the sanction to worship a single God. But that doesn't really work either, because we are enjoined to neither add nor subtract in several instances in this book. And unlike in Exodus, an added threat comes up several times in this book. And the Lord will scatter you among the peoples. Now this suggests the writer was familiar with the Assyrian Babylonian exile, and therefore it suggests it would have been written well after the time of Moses. You see, Forever was writing, the ultimate catastrophe of exile is assimilation into the local cults, which would have been the fate, one may reasonably assume, of most of those exiled from the 10 northern tribes after the Assyrian conquest in 721 before the Common Era, and for some of those exiled in 586 by the Babylonians. The lost 10 tribes assimilated into various communities, which makes the return of the Jews from Babylon so important, because they held on to their beliefs. They were not assimilated. They assimilated some of the stories, and we've talked all about that, but they held on to their beliefs and their cultures. Now, even while we are reliving some of these incredible events, we also get in this Parsha what is referred to as the Great Commandment. And I don't want to play it, but it is probably one of, if not the oldest actual piece of continuing Jewish liturgy. It's known as the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. It's a beautiful 6-word statement that has been aptly described as a catechism. And for the first time, instead of being a God to fear, because that's all we're told to love God. And how are we told to love God? With all your heart. The heart is the seat of understanding in biblical physiology. It's also associated with feelings. With all your being. Now, the Hebrew word nephesh means life breath or essential self. With all your might, with every ounce of your strength, in those 3 key ways. And isn't it interesting that it begins here, or listen? Emphasis on listening goes together with the title and theme of this book, Words. Hear, Israel, the Lord is God, the Lord is one. Friends, the great events of creation, the patriarchs, Exodus, the Sinai, the wilderness, are at an end. What remains now is the words, the story of what happened, and the commandments to be fulfilled. Israel's task now, and in its future generations, is to listen, to learn the story, and to do the commandments. And like any great piece of work, this has melody attached to it. We learn so much more easily when we sing things than when we simply try and learn them. I'm sure we can all sing the songs of our youth at the drop of a hat, but cannot recite the things that we studied. Well, the Torah is like that. It is a 5-volume book that is sung weekly, and the prayers are sung, and we all learn them that way, which is why almost anyone who is Jewish can recite the Shema. They know the tune. They hear it in their head. They know the words. They know it's 6 little words, and they know its translation almost immediately. Now, I, of course, had learned its normal way of singing or reciting, but I also learned a fantastic, folkish, meditative version of it, from the mystics up in Sfad. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. And that could be, it's almost got like a bit of a haunting melody attached to it. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is God, the Lord is one. Blessed be his name, whose glorious kingdom is forever and ever. And it can be said, played, hummed, meditated upon in so many ways. Each of the 6 words in one point of the 6-pointed star. And so it's a fantastic tool for meditation. But what does it really mean? We all learn the words and we all learn, the basic translation, but what does it really mean? Now, how I said it is, of course, how we translate it. But that's not how it would have been written in biblical Hebrew, nor how it would have been said by biblical Hebrew man. Now remember, we see the name of God written. Don't say it. Instead, we say Adonai, which is a word that means our Lord. In the Bible, the name of God is written. And in this prayer, the name of God is written. And so it would have been pronounced. Don't forget, God introduced himself or herself in Exodus and told us his or her name was Yahweh, YHVH, a 3rd-person verb, and it is actually a male verb, meaning he who causes to be. And I think that's a way better description than Lord. And do not forget the name Israel also had meaning, he who wrestles with God. A statement almost all of us can certainly attest to. So for biblical man, here is how it would be translated for biblical Hebrew. Here. You who've wrestled with God, he who causes all to be is God. He who causes all to be is the one. Now that's a hell of a testament to monotheism in any religion. Now don't forget, friends, in comparing Israel's monotheism to pagan religion, we must appreciate that the difference between one and many is not the same sort of thing as the difference between 2 and 3 or between 6 and 20. It's not a numerical concept. It's a different concept of what God is. A God who's outside of nature, known through the acts in history, a creator, unseeable, unknowable, without a mate, who makes legal covenants with humans, who is one, is and was a revolution in religious conception. And this prayer, which is said twice a day by those who are of the faith, also point to this as being the origin of tefillin, the little boxes of prayer sheets worn on the head and on the arm in the morning for early prayers. People point to the instruction to keep it between your eyes. Deuteronomy 6:8, and you shall bind them for a sign on your hand, and they shall become bands between your eyes. Yes, that is true. This is where the practice of wearing tefillin comes from. But that is but one interpretation. And I remind people that between their eyes is the sixth chakra, the third eye chakra, which we should try to open, and which says, I see, at every deep level that it can mean. The wheel which brings synchronicity to the two hemispheres of the brain, the right's creativity and the left's logic and analytics, and which lines up inside the brain with the hypothalamus, which the Egyptians felt actually controlled our entire being. Now, sometimes we take things just a little bit too literally in the Tanakh. However, this expression is meant figuratively, meaning keep these teachings at hand. And just take a look at Proverbs 3:3, 6:21, 7:3, where it talks of binding religious teachings to one's neck, one's heart, one's fingers. It's figuratively speaking. Remember, God splits seas. He makes animals talk, makes water come from rocks. But God does not change the human heart. Man is free to decide for himself how he will treat his fellow man, the animals, the earth, and the spirit, and how he'll interpret things. And we've all seen how good a job he's been doing on all of those things. Well, friends, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish, celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone and end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we're a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. Let us send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, good healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive. Learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy the journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to love, to be. So please do love. Send healing, goodwill, and love to all who need it. Share your holiness. Bless you all. Have a fantastic week. Week of love and light for the holiday of love. A week of peace and healing for you to honor the people of your life and honor the journey you were on. And friends, keep your eyes open to which it may not be seen. Keep your ears open and listen to the world around you. Listen. It don't really matter to me. You believe what you want to believe. You see, you don't have to live like a refugee. Tom Petty, you don't have to live like a refugee. Listen. Well, do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. It's in sight. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading your holiness. Do not follow fear. I thank you all for joining me, for participating, for sharing your lives, your love, your time with me. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Be well until then. Shabbat Shalom. Take care. Bye.